Here we are back in our document, the index HTML document. We need to add more text. Remember, this lesson is just about text. The next lesson is about images. But we want more text. I mean, the Wichita Visitor site and thank you for being here are not really what I would constitute as an index page. We need more stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is look at ways that we can move text. Let's do this. Come down to this button right here and click and drag down until you see 955 by 600. And when you select that button, it's going to constrain the width and height of our document window to exactly 955 by 600, which meets our tracing image. So we're looking at it a little bit differently in exactly the way hopefully a client would see it. The next thing is we need to put some space between here and here because I want to put the text in the middle. So we'll click here and press the Enter key. And it's going to give us that extra space, a carriage return, a paragraph space. There are two ways to generate text. One is directly in Dreamweaver, and I'll admit I am not a fan of doing a lot of text in Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver never was, it isn't now, and it will never be a text processing program in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I just don't think it is. I would rather, if I'm doing bulk text, to do it in any program other than Dreamweaver. Microsoft Word would be my absolute favorite. But what I want you to do is go into your work folder for this lesson, and I want you to open up a document called Wichita TXT. Now, I don't know if you know this little trick. It's been around for about 100 years. But if you hold down the Control key and press the Tab key, you can scroll through the programs that you currently have open. So if I go in, there's that document, Wichita Text. So I have two things open in a sense. Actually, I have more. But I've got Wichita Text and I have Dreamweaver open. And I want to move text from that document up here because I don't like typing in Dreamweaver, or my client gave me this, which is more than likely. We're just going to do one paragraph. I want you to select this paragraph right here. So I'll select it just like that. Now there are two ways to get it there. One is a copy-paste. We'll do that one second. If you have the advantage of being able to access both documents, just like I am right now, I can see the Dreamweaver document. Then I can drag it. Very easy. Once you've got the text selected, come in here, click and hold your mouse until you see an arrow appear, and it should drag it. Mac or Windows, we're going to drag it right up here. Let go. That would be one way to move that text. Let me press undo. Love undo. Let's do this again. Andy, I don't have the ability to see both documents at the same time. If I've got Dreamweaver open, that's all I can see. And if I have my document down here open, that's really all I can see. I can't drag it because there's nowhere to drag it to. In that case, you do a copy and a paste. So what we're going to do is select that text again. But this time we're going to go up to the word edit and we're going to select copy. Now you can do the Control Tab thing to get back to Dreamweaver. Make sure you're right here. But we're not going to go to edit paste. We're going to select edit paste special. In edit paste special, you get a lot of very relevant text options. For example, I've got some bolds and italics and I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I don't want any of that. I want it just as raw text. I'll figure out what to do with it once it's in Dreamweaver, then select text only right here. Well, actually I do have some lists and tables and that's really kind of what I want. And I want that structure. I don't want to have to recreate that. It's already there. Why, make the wheel all over again, right? So we'll choose that one. The reason these are grayed out is because we're not using Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word allows for bolds, italics, emphasis strong, all those different things. If we choose text with structure plus basic, we'll get our formatting like bolds and italics. If we choose text with structure in full formatting, understand, Microsoft Word gives you the ability to add HTML tags to the text before it ever gets to Dreamweaver. I do like that feature. Now those are grayed out because we're not using Microsoft Word. The reason I'm using a document as text, because I do use Word, is not everybody under the sound of my voice right now is using Word, and if I gave you a DOC document, you probably wouldn't be able to open it, so we're working with text. The other one is retain line breaks, which is important, your paragraphs. This one is only there for Word, and I really recommend strongly that you turn that on if you're working with Word. Word uses a leading feature to change the spacing between lines, like space before, space after on paragraphs. HTML doesn't handle that, so you want to clean that up before you bring it in or you might have a problem. And there's one more thing that I like about Macromedia here. Macromedia, and again, I notice I didn't say Adobe. When Macromedia owned Dreamweaver, they did something that's still there, and it's beginning to filter into some of the Adobe products like Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign. This button right here, if you click it, will take you into your preferences for that particular option. I do like that feature. It'd be like we stopped, closed that box, and went to preferences to change this. And it's asking me basically, what do I want to see when I open up a copy-paste special? And I do like text with structure. We didn't have that option, so it defaulted to the next one up or the next one up. But I do like the ability to go to these preferences instantaneously from the dialog box. And that actually was a Macromedia thing that was still there now that Adobe's got it. And I'm glad they're retaining that. Let's click OK here. And we'll click OK here. So that's another way to get the text in. Two different ways. We could type it from scratch, or we can bring it in from another document. And if we're bringing it in from a different document, don't forget Paste Special to help make it work for you and get exactly what you need. Best of both worlds, text processing programs and Dreamweaver working together seamlessly. Before we run away from this particular lesson, there's one more thing I want to do. You ever heard the expression, an itch you can't scratch? That might be what you're going through right now if you've seen this word since actually the end of the last segment. It's misspelled. That's not the word journey. It's not spelled correctly. Now, you know that. If you've been looking at that word, you're probably yelling at your screen saying, Andy, change the word. I agree. It needs to be spelled correctly. And I would like to say in the last segment, when I made this particular document, that I did that on purpose. And I could say that, I guess. I did it on purpose so we could segue into a simple spell check. In reality, I did it by accident, but it still allows me to go ahead and check spelling, and it's what we want to do. Remember one thing about when you check spelling. When you check the spelling of anything, whether it's in Microsoft Word or Dreamweaver, they're all good. You're only determining if the word is spelled correctly, not if it's used correctly. Like TWO, TO, TOO, all sound like the word to, but they mean very different things. Or you're and you are. And it's one that I get kind of mixed up every once in a while in terms of typing it. Make sure after you've spell checked, you read it again. That's called editing. And you should get somebody else to read it for you because you typically can't find your own grammatical mistakes. But let's get into a check spell here. Go up to the word commands, that's where it is, and go down to check spelling. In check spelling, it will start where your insertion point is and go down. We were already here at the end of the document, so it's asking us if we want to start at the beginning, which we do. Click yes. And there it is, journey. The cool thing to me about spell check is if you've got it anywhere near what it's supposed to be, you're probably going to have your first choice as the one you need to work with, but you do have several options. One, you could add it to personal. Now that's saying the word is spelled correctly. You don't have it. We're going to make it a new word in the dictionary. It's a personal little area that puts only your words in. So let's say it's a proper name like Bogdanovich. And Bogdanovich would not be a name in a normal proper name area in a U.S. dictionary. So I would say, no, that's spelled correctly, and I'm using it a lot. So go ahead and put this in my personal dictionary so I don't have to answer this question again. Or I could just say ignore, don't put it in the dictionary. What I want to do is say change, obviously, because that's what we want to do. Or I can just say, hey, I've used it a lot. I don't care to put it in the dictionary, but don't ever tell me again that it's a problem in this document. Ignore all. Or I've used it a lot and change them all. It's up to you. We're going to select Journey, which is this one right here. It's not Jonah, it's not Joanne, it's not Gina. It is Journey. And click Change. Now it tells me it's completed. We click OK. We want to press Control-S for File Save to save the document. And that little itch that you were unable to scratch has now been scratched. The word is now spelled correctly.